Okay, so I just finished recording a Thor Ragnarok review a moment ago. It's right here on my channel. You can go and watch it if you want. I go a lot into other things in the MCU and how to make movies and the comic books that it draws from and all of that stuff. But I try to keep it spoiler free, and if you've seen it, you will know that was actually kind of hard for me. So I decided to, just skip right ahead. Come on, baby. Yeah, my dog is a bit afraid right now. I don't know why, so she gets to sit with me while I do these reviews. So I decided, what the heck, let's do a total spoiler review. A lot of the popular reviewers on YouTube don't put up the spoiler reviews for a couple of days because the movies are not out yet in the US, but I live in Europe and it came out yesterday, so to me that's free territory. If you don't want this movie spoiled, don't watch this, because I'm gonna talk to you like you just watched the movies and highlight all of the great things, including the ending of the movie. If you haven't watched it, don't watch this video. I really, really, really encourage you to stop this video right now. Stop it. Stop the video, okay? I'm gonna give you to count of 5 now before I start spoiling the heck out of Thor Ragnarok, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. You've been warned. Don't say you haven't been warned. This is total spoiler territory. Okay, so the movie starts out with Thor being in kind of a pickle, but making fun of it, saying, okay, you probably wonder how I got here. You've also seen that in the trailer, but it's a little bit different. Because he's about to fight the Fire Lord Surtur, and he is actually pulling a total Natasha Romanoff from the first Avengers movie, by saying that, okay, I'm fighting this guy, I'm being held captive and I'm gonna fight this guy in a moment. I just let him capture me because I want to know what his big plan is. And the plan is to take his crown and put it into the eternal fire. And so he says, okay, that's great. I'll take your damn crown then. I don't know how much of a solid plan it is then to take that crown from him and then go and put it right next to the eternal flame. But as it turns out in the end of the movie, that was probably a good idea then. Next thing is, then he takes this crown and he flies it back to Asgard, where it he very fast realizes that Loki is actually the one portraying Odin, and that Odin is not there. Despite that, he still just hands him the crown and say, oh, please put it somewhere safe in the vault, like only Odin can. And he just sends someone away with that crown. And so Thor leaves something as important as the crown of Surtur to Loki on purpose. That seems a bit strange, but I don't make too much of it because we have to get along with the story. So he watches the play, which is really a strange setup because you're watching the scene of when you alone watched your brother getting killed, and even with the things you yourself said to your dying brother, you're hearing those things being repeated in a play in front of you. A play that could only be written by the guy that you were so emotional in front of. I mean, that is great, and that is the kind of humor that I want in these movies. If you've seen the other review, my biggest problem with this movie is that sometimes they take you out of the story with all their jokes. And I mean, I love a good joke now and then. I love humor in a movie. This is the kind of humor that I want. Where something a little bit crazy, a little bit askew happens in the movie and makes you think, what? So this is the kind of humor that I want in my Marvel movies. So, anyway, he takes Loki to Earth. They find Doctor Strange, or actually Doctor Strange finds them because he doesn't want Loki to be on Earth. So you have like a 5-minute scene with Doctor Strange in it, and it goes really, really fast. They keep on cutting to a new place. So basically Thor keeps on being teleported while Loki is falling for half an hour, which is a great line. But this also it really shows how strong and confident Doctor Strange has become since the Doctor Strange movie, which is a great lead up to Avengers Infinity War. After they get thrown out, or they get sent to Odin by Loki. No, they get Thor and Loki get sent to Odin by Doctor Strange. Odin tells him that the spell Loki put him under is no longer there. It took him time and effort to get out of it, and Loki should be proud of the skill he is finally mastering with his magic. But also, he is going to die, like now. And I think the way that they let him die is actually beautiful. Letting him turn into stardust, that's just great. That's just amazing. It really is. And then in the very moment that he disappears, Hela comes out of there saying, "Okay, guys, so Odin was the only reason that I have not been around for a bunch of years, thousands of years, I don't know how many. And he just disappeared. So here I am. Now I'm gonna be your new queen, and you better bow to me." They of course don't want to do that, and Loki gets them out of there, where Thor just wants to fight her head on right away. And inside of the Bifrost, they're all fighting, but it's a very fast fight because both Loki and Thor gets thrown out of the Bifrost and ends up on the planet Sakaar. And this is where I kind of expected a lot of things from Planet Hulk to either be alluded to or actually happen in the movie. But if you read if you read Planet Hulk, you know that it's about Hulk coming to the planet Sakaar, and he's being forced to fight in an arena. He of course wins his freedom, despite the fact that the Emperor is challenging him and is not being fair about this whole thing and doesn't want him to survive these battles. So he finally breaks out. Everyone in Sakaar thinks he's either the world breaker or the world savior, the son of Sakaar as they call it. And these are some of the things that happen there. He also finds an actual girlfriend. He gets married in this book. It's such an epic adventure. You really should read it. But anyway, we find Thor here. We find Hulk here, and the Hulk is not married. He's just fighting in the arena, and he loves that. So it seems like they're kind of discarding the whole heartfelt story of Planet Hulk, which is a bit disappointing to me, mostly because the way they discard it makes it feel like, okay, there's no going back now. There is no making Planet Hulk within the MCU now, and they could have done that. In the Planet Hulk comic book, Iron Man is one of the leading forces sending Hulk away from Earth after deciding, you know what, no, he is too dangerous, we need to be rid of him. And also he keeps on saying himself that he just wants to be left alone. We'll leave him alone. We'll send him to somewhere where he's going to be alone. And they play that in the plane for him. So when he wakes up as Bruce Banner in the Quinjet going away from Earth, there's a video playing for him with the whole Illuminati led by Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, telling him that we've chosen to send you away. You will not be coming back to Earth. You're going someplace else. You know, already pretty harsh stuff right there, and we're not getting that here. It's just he flew somewhere else. He flew into a wormhole and ended up on this planet. He fought a lot. He likes to fight, and now he can talk. That's the next thing. He can talk now, and I really love the way that Mark Ruffalo explained this in an interview, saying that, well, the Hulk has been there for 2 years straight without Bruce Banner coming out. So that means that the Hulk now has the vocabulary of a 2-year-old, and I really love that way of putting it. Yeah. Because that kind of means that the Hulk is just a baby with incredible power, just throwing a tantrum, and that, I mean, when you go back with that line of thought into movies like the first Avengers movie, where the Hulk is just throwing Loki around, calling him a puny god, you know, imagine that he's just a giant toddler, just tiny puny god. I mean, it just makes it so much funnier. But anyway, that's a bit of a sidestep. They of course need to convince Valkyrie, who is just drunk all the time, to come with them off of Sakaar, and they do. I mean, I'm already ahead of this in my review of the movie, because I mean the whole thing on Sakaar, it's just bringing people together. It's not super important. It's, you know, bringing Thor and Loki a little bit together after Loki causing the death of Odin in Thor's eyes, and, you know, bringing Valkyrie onto the team, bringing the Hulk onto the team. That's the point of this. So there's not a lot of story actually going on here. So I was about to just skip ahead through Sakaar, but we need to just quickly mention the Grandmaster, portrayed by Jeff Goldblum. The Grandmaster is, and this has been confirmed as far as I know, that Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster is, within the MCU, the brother of Guillermo del Toro. Oh my god, I just butchered that name. I'm sorry. Del Toro's collector. So they are the original beings of the universe. So I wonder what they're going to do with that down the line. If perhaps they could be the new bad guys after Thanos or something. Anyway, doesn't matter. Jeff Goldblum is there, and it's a great time. It really is. You don't really get the notion that he's all powerful or anything, but you don't get that with the collector either. So I guess that's fine. But I liked Jeff Goldblum in this role. I really did. So they get off Sakaar, and they come back to fight Hela. And I like the way that they alter Heimdall's powers a little bit, so that he can not only see everything, but he can also make Thor see what he sees. So technically, that would mean that since Heimdall can see everything, if he can also project his vision into anyone, I don't know if it's just Thor or if it's only Asgardians or whatever, but let's just say to everyone that basically means that Heimdall has the power to make anyone in the universe see anything in the universe. Just a little something to think about. Anyway, Hela raises an army of the dead. They're basically fighting an alien zombie army led by the Fenris wolf. I thought I saw Hela riding the Fenris wolf sometime in the trailers, but I never saw it in the movies. That was really something I was looking forward to, just for the visuals of it, because she's so well made. The Fenris wolf is so well made. I really wanted to see that, to see her riding into battle on the back of the Fenris wolf. I mean, that would just have been awesome. But it's not that there wasn't enough awesomeness in this movie. Actually, speaking of awesome scenes, that whole scene that you also saw in the trailers, where the Valkyries come down and are being butchered, all of them, by Hela. That was such an epic. I mean, I want that picture as a painting on my wall. That was such an epic thing to make. I was so sad that scene ended so shortly. I wanted to spend time with that scene, just enjoying the visuals. That was awesome. That was spectacular. Anyway, so they get back there and they get to fight Hela, and the stone creature that I don't remember the name of right now. Taika Waititi is the voice of it, the very stupid voice of it. And Meek is there. I really like that Meek is there, and even, you know, by the end of the movie, when the stone creature says that oh, I'm holding on to Meek, I accidentally killed him by stepping on him earlier, but so I just felt bad and kept carrying him around, and then Meek wakes back up and turns out he's still alive, and that is a big deal to me, because of Planet Hulk. If you read Planet Hulk, you know why. If you haven't, I won't tell you. Read it. But Meek is really important in Planet Hulk. So even though I feel like they completely threw away their best book ever by taking out a little part of it and throwing all the good stuff away, I like that Meek is still there. He might still have a role to play, kind of like Gollum, you know. So there is that. What else is there? Then of course there's the ending of the movie. There is the big fight between between the Fenris wolf and the Hulk. I really like that. I really like that the Fenris wolf was able to sink one of his giant teeth into the back of the Hulk. And I really like the visuals of it, you know, seeing the Hulk who is giant but not you know, 1/100th of the size of the Fenris wolf, and he just grabs it by the jaw and throws it away. And also there's, in the beginning of the movie, there is this scene with the dragon that Thor is fighting by just putting his hammer on the lower jaw of the dragon. So the dragon is just unable to move its head around. That is epic. And again, this is the kind of humor that I want in my Marvel movies. These are not one-liners. These are not jokes. I mean, I appreciate the one-liner now and then, but this is the humor that you need to have in your movies, where you really put your own imagination to the test. So, Hulk fights Fenris wolf, and of course Thor has to fight Hela. That's what the whole movie has been building up to. And the fight does not disappoint, it really doesn't end. And Hela even pulls out one of Thor's eyes. And this was something that really surprised me, because this means that when we're gonna see Thor in the future movies, he's gonna be missing an eye. It also gives you more of an illusion that he actually becomes his father. He becomes Odin, and he looks more like him now. And if he is to rebuild Valhalla, because they talk a lot, they mention several times in the movie that Valhalla is not a place, it's a people. And Odin even tells Thor in the beginning of the movie that he should remember this place in Norway, where Odin dies, and it seems to be where they're going at the end of the movie. So it seems like they will be rebuilding Valhalla in Norway, which is great. It's very much like what J. Michael Straczynski does in his Thor run. Actually, already within the first couple of issues, Thor builds a new, because that comes right after a Ragnarok in the comic book universe with Marvel, and he starts rebuilding. He's alone in this one, but he starts rebuilding Ragnarok, Valhalla on Earth. You can definitely go check that out. This comes after the story that's called Thor Disassembled. That's part of the whole Avengers Disassembled, but Thor Disassembled is actually the best part of that, and that is the actual Ragnarok story, where Thor has to gouge out one of his eyes to be able to defeat Ragnarok itself, to become as all-seeing and all-knowing as his father. He has to also gouge one of his eyes out. And, well, spoiler for that comic book, you really should read it in spite of knowing this. After gouging one of his eyes out, he is then told, yeah, sure, so you did what you expected to work. Do you think your father expected it to work when he gouged one of his eyes out? You have to do more, because you know that it'll work. You have to do something that you're not sure will work. And so he gouges his other eye out and has no eyes. That is just sick. Really, and the way it's set up is just great. You should really read this stuff. Anyway, and so the final part of the movie is that they take that they realize that they cannot defeat Hela, and that the only one who can defeat Hela, which is kind of strange, is Fire Lord Surtur. So they take this crown that they placed right next to the Eternal Fire, and they put it into the Eternal Fire like Surtur said that he wanted, so that Surtur can have all of his power back, because that's the only force that's strong enough to kill Hela. And Surtur emerges and kills Hela and destroys all of Asgard. And this is a really, really emotional scene, because you get to see the last Asgardians look out of the window of the spaceship and see their home destroyed. Everything they've ever known, the country where they've lived their entire lives, the whole civilization on that spaceship is watching their world be destroyed. And then Taika Waititi makes a joke as the stone guy. I don't even remember the joke, I just remember that it annoyed me. Because this was the emotional impact of the movie. This was the final scene of the movie, saying, okay, we fought. This movie was called Thor Ragnarok, and this is the ending of it. The end of Thor Ragnarok is that Thor caused Ragnarok on purpose as the only way to defeat the villain. And here it is. He saved everyone, but he also had to destroy the entire world that he came from. That's the emotional impact that they're trying to lay on you. And I mean, I could feel myself getting a little bit of tears in the eyes until they start joking about it. I mean, that's, oh, I even remember the joke now. Oh, we can always rebuild as long as there's a really strong foundation, and then he destroys even more. Oh, I guess there's no strong foundation there. I mean, even the first part I could have lived with, that he said that you can always rebuild as long as there's a strong foundation, and then you see the whole foundation also being thrown away. But when you also have to joke about that, then I kind of lost that feeling that the movie was giving me right there, and at the least opportune moment, because you're kind of spoiling the climax of your movie, and having the director being the one to do it, that's just a little bit sad. And it's really my only complaint about this movie. I know in the other one I talked about how there were too many jokes, and perhaps there are, but this is the one. This is the one that annoys me. Don't joke with the entire world going under. Don't make a serious movie. I know that it's a funny movie, but it's also a serious movie within a serious comic book universe. So don't make a serious movie about the destruction of the world and end it with deciding, we have to destroy the world. We could save it, but this person, we cannot run away from her. We need to destroy her, and we need to destroy our entire world to do so. That's big, man. Don't ruin it with a joke. Anyway, that's my only grievance with the movie, because I loved everything else with it. I wish it had been longer because I just wanted to stay in there, but honestly, I'll probably just get it as soon as it's out on DVD, and I'll just watch it on repeat for a year or something, because I love this movie. So yeah, I guess that's it. That was my very, very spoilery review. If you have not seen the movie yet and decided that you wanted to hear this review without watching the movie first, despite my very elaborate spoiler warnings in the beginning, well, I hope you can enjoy the movie knowing all these things anyway. So on behalf of myself and my cute little dog, hello. Bye bye, and I'll see you next time.